Hello, sinners. How are ya? On today's installment of the Letterboard of Truth, our quote of the day is, girls, who's that? If I know at this point. Women are some of the most complex beings on earth. Okay, we don't know who we want, what we want, how we function, which is why we need random men on the internet to decide all that for us. Sometimes these random men wind up getting posted on r/nothowgirlswork, which happens to be the subreddit we'll be going through today. If you've never had the privilege of visiting r/nothowgirlswork, it's essentially a subreddit filled with posts of people on the internet who do not know how girls work. Hence the title. To be fully transparent, this subreddit just seems like r/badwomen's in a different font, cause it's a very similar concept, but I found some really funny and cringy posts, and I'm excited to laugh at them with you. First things first, we have a screenshot of a Facebook comment, and if it's from Facebook, you know it's gonna be good. Every female always calls themselves a 10, regardless if they look like Bigfoot. Confidence is one thing, but delusion is another. Pretty privilege eventually has an expiration date. Okay, first of all, if these supposed women or females, as you like to call them, all look like Bigfoot, then how are they benefiting from pretty privilege? Pretty privilege eventually has an expiration date, and then their ultimate outcome is hitting 40 years old, body count in the triple digits, not married, no kids, obese, popping anxiety and depression meds like their Skittles candy, living with 8 cats as their companionship, and becoming desensitized by their constant use of their favorite sex toys. Sir, please do not threaten me with a good time. Honestly, that all sounds a lot better than spending eternity being married to a guy like you. But I think we need to talk about how confidence is seen as a bad thing in women, but it's something that men should strive for. Like, obviously no one's a 10 out of 10 because nobody's perfect, but people are allowed to feel confident in themselves. This comment reminds me of those TikTok street interviews where guys are going up to drunk girls on the street and being like, "Hey son or thought daughter." And one of the questions they almost always ask is to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. And no matter what a woman says, she will get in the comments for men. Like, if a girl rates herself realistically like a number lower than 10, all the guys in the comments are gonna be like, yeah, she's not wrong, I would rate her lower than that. But then if she calls herself a 10, she's seen as delusional or full of herself. So it's like, no matter what we rate ourselves, you're still gonna give a for it. And since that's the case, a lot of time you might as well rate yourself a 10 out of 10 because men like this dude are scared of confident women. Anyway, before we continue, we have a word from today's sponsor, Intimina. Now, I will be gone for a period of time, but I will be back. Get it? Because Intimina makes menstrual... Okay, we'll roll the ad. It's 2023, and I've just about had it with the stigma surrounding periods. Menstruation is a completely normal and healthy bodily function, and being able to talk about it without feeling gross or embarrassed is good for all of us. Personally, I got my first period when I was 12, so back in 7th grade, and I'm 24 now, so I've menstruated for half my life. And as I've learned over the years, that time of the month can be very painful and very expensive. I don't even want to think about how much money I've spent on menstrual products. Thanks to Intimina, I've transitioned from using conventional period products to menstrual cups. In case you're new to this, like I was, menstrual cups are actually much healthier for you. The best ones are made of medical grade silicone, which means that unlike tampons, they don't have any weird chemicals or gross fibers. The one I have here is the Lily Cup 1. And don't be fooled by its size. The Lily Cup 1 is tiny but mighty. It has a leak-proof double rim with an easy removal loop for peace of mind and worry-free removal. It's collapsible and it fits into this very convenient carrying case. I find that the case is perfect for when you're on the go because you could throw this into your backpack, suitcase, purse, no problem. So make sure to check out the Intimina website linked in the description and learn more about alternative period products. Lily cups are beginner friendly and a great way to start. Using menstrual cups is a step forward to your better self, to being thoughtful about your body, being kind towards the environment, and being tactful towards your budget, which is why I've made the switch. Again, Intimina's website will be linked below. Thank you so much to Intimina for supporting the channel. Now let's get back to your scheduled programming. You do know this is a different shirt, right? So this next post is a tweet from the Manosphere president himself. I didn't realize that the Manosphere was a sovereign nation that held elections for president. There are definitely no women in that country, and if there are, they're definitely not allowed to vote. Let's see what the president of the Manosphere has to say. Women love getting stared at hitting the gym. Come on, you're president and you can't get dictionary. I think he meant to say while hitting the gym. That's the only thing that would make sense. Anyway, they love getting pics and all sorts of they bitch about in public. Women complain about the things they love. It's misdirection to trick the beta males and weed them out of the gene pool. So let me get this straight. When women complain about creepy guys staring at them at the gym or getting unsolicited pics, it's really a test. Because any guy who decides not to be a creep is a beta male, but if you decide to disrespect a woman's boundaries or be an absolute weirdo,
then you're an alpha male.
Was this his presidential campaign in the Manosphere? Did he have to send a certain amount of unsolicited pics in order to get the title of president? I don't know how elections work in the Manosphere. If I hit up any of my friends who are girls and asked them if they liked being stared at in public or if they liked receiving unsolicited pics, they would all say no. No one likes receiving nudes that they didn't ask for. And if you're sending an unsolicited pic to a woman, just know that you are definitely getting laughed at in the group chat. Like, obviously sending nudes are fine as long as you get consent from the person you are sending them to. But if you're just sending your willy to a bunch of random girls, no one wants to see that in their notifications. And just to prove a point, I ran a poll on Twitter, feel free to follow me, but I asked my audience, if you are a woman/femme person who dates men, do you enjoy receiving unsolicited dick pics? And 96.7 people said hell no. Now granted, there are a lot more than 460 people in the world, but I think this gives you a good idea regardless. Someone said, can I still vote if I'm a lesbian who spent too many years in the closet? Yeah, absolutely. And listen, even as a lesbian, shockingly, I have also received unsolicited pics. I don't know if I've shared my full coming out story, but before I came out as a lesbian in 2020, I ID'd as bi for 4 years. And back when I was on dating apps at that time, I was swiping on men and women. And a couple of the guys I've talked to have sent me pictures of their wiener that I didn't ask for. And it was disturbing to say the least. Moral of the story, if you're looking to send someone nudes, number 1, get consent. And number 2, don't include your face, because duh. Actually, drinking large amounts of water is as such harmful. Yes, the way of drinking, it might make it harmful, especially for females. Females should avoid drinking water directly from the bottle and in standing position because in such manner the force of the drunk water is directly exerted in the uterus of the female and it makes the uterus weak in a long run. Well, it's a good thing I'm drinking out of my Stanley cup. I wouldn't want the water to go to my uterus, after all. Especially if the water is directly taken from the bottle, then its amount is less altered as compared to when we sip water from a glass, and there's less force when we drink from a glass. So females should try to drink water from a glass and should be sitting while drinking. Hold on a sec. Uh-oh! Would you look at that? Wouldn't want this going to my uterus now, would I? That was a little too warm for my liking. I don't think I have to tell you that this person is full of shit, right? How hard does he think women are drinking water? Does he think we're shotgunning a bottle of water every time we're thirsty? You're gendering how someone drinks water. Respectfully, if you found yourself agreeing with this person, please unsubscribe. This is not the channel for you. Like, you know how people back in the day were like, sit like a lady, eat like a lady. I guess you have to drink like a lady too. You know, you don't want your uterus to fall out or whatnot. So this next post is a short Twitter thread, so you know it's gonna be good. You could always find some bits of knowledge and truth on Twitter. The original tweet says, why would any guy not want to marry a star ... To which a guy responded in 2 tweets saying, women release oxytocin during sex. Oxytocin runs out. Each time a woman has sex with a new partner, her stores run lower and she's less able to pair bond with someone. The better the sex, the more she will be chemically ruined for the next man. After 10 to 15, it's pretty much over. So ladies, make sure you have some oxytocin in stock every time you want to sleep with someone new. But you know what, dude? We just got out of a pandemic. We're still dealing dealing with shipping and supply problems. Give women a break. There's some oxytocin production delays. I teach men how to effectively imprint on a woman for this reason. What the f***? Are you Jacob from Twilight? Are you gonna imprint on, what's her name? Are you gonna imprint on Bella's baby? That freaky robot baby? The more you can imprint, the less likely she'll be able to connect with the next person. And women intrinsically understand this. That's why the better as men can dish it out, the less likely she is to leave. I'm genuinely confused. What do you mean by imprint? What is this like some lingo I'm not caught up to speed with? All right, sexual imprinting is the learning of a mate preference by direct observation of the phenotype of another member of the population. So imprinting is just like getting someone to like you, is what I'm getting from Google. So you just know how to get women to like you. Okay, why do you have to be weird about it? All right, so oxytocin is called like the love hormone, and it's the chemical that allows people to experience love and connection with others. According to this article, it makes people more trusting, generous, and even more in love. But basically, oxytocin is a hormone, and your body naturally produces it. Sometimes people need synthetic oxytocin for therapeutic reasons, but you can also naturally get it from physical activity. You can naturally get oxytocin while exercising. Apparently, music can also boost oxytocin levels as well as physical touch. So cuddling with your loved one, holding hands with them, giving them a massage can naturally boost oxytocin levels. So to say that women have a limited supply of oxytocin and will run out of it over time is just objectively wrong. Since we haven't talked about sex enough in this video, let's read this Reddit post. Why is a man responsible for making a woman come? Jesus Christ. Don't get me wrong, both partners should try to please the other, at least in a relationship. But I often see women use "you've never made a woman orgasm" as an insult to guys online, which got me thinking, do women make men come, or are men making themselves come using a woman's body? Why would you? Okay. And if that's the case, are we saying it is the man's responsibility to make sure both parties come? There have been times when a woman has made me come via HJ or Beach Day, or maybe just riding super good. But the vast majority of time, it's me finishing her, then finishing myself. It sounds like a skill issue. I mean, I agree with the first part where both partners should try to please the other. So if you're with someone sexually, you obviously like them a little bit, or you're at least very attracted to them. And since you arguably, hopefully care about the person you're sleeping with, don't you want to make them feel good since you like them? And by asking if women make men come, or are men making themselves come using a woman's body, are you implying that women are just tools for your masturbation? This is peak objectification if I've ever seen it. And if that's the case, are we making sure it is the man's responsibility to make sure both parties come? How about we just try having a good time during sex? Like, why do we have to turn it into a competition of who comes first or who comes at all? Why not just have fun? That's the entire point of sex, my guy. It seems like he's victimizing men over a non-issue. Yeah, I don't understand this guy's line of thinking. All I know is that he should stop viewing women as tools to help him come and look at women like autonomous beings who have needs and desires too. So this next post is a screenshot of another Twitter interaction, as they always are. So this guy posts two pictures of a woman sitting in a kitchen. In the first picture, she is holding a loaf of bread. The second one, she is leaning against a kitchen table. I don't really know what she's doing. And the caption is, "How would you open?" Meaning, how would you approach her and, try to get her number or whatnot? And someone named Nice Guy Seduction responded with, "Oh God, a woman that can cook and make bread? You're off to a good start, but can you also clean?" Yeah, make sure to wear your nicest fedora when you say that to her too, bud. Personally, if I saw this random woman in my kitchen, I would ask her, "Ma'am, how did you get in my house? What are you doing here? How did you make a whole loaf of bread without me knowing? Get your ass off my dining room table. You're freaking me out, ma'am." Also, how are you going to call yourself Nice Guy Seduction? Unironically, it's kind of an oxymoron, don't you think? Also, I love his profile picture here. I like how he's stretching his arms out. Like, this is how much I don't get. Women will pierce their belly buttons, nipples, and tongues, get tattoos, wax their lady bits, and inject silicones in their tits. But when it's time for a bit of anal, suddenly that hurts too much. I think the thing you're missing here is consent. If a woman walks into a piercing studio and asks to get her belly button done, her nipples done, what have you. She is consenting to having that part pierced. Same thing with waxing. If a woman makes an appointment to get her bikini line waxed, for example, she's consenting to that pain. It's not that women can't take the pain, it's that women aren't consenting to the pain you're giving to them by sticking your dick in their butt, like I said. If anal or any sex act in general is something you're looking to try, you need to speak to your partner ahead of time and ask, hey, is it okay if I put my you-know-what in your you-know-where? And if they say no, well, no means no. This next post is from a confessions Facebook page, and there's a butt in the profile picture, so you know it's going to be juicy. The confession, I mean, not the butt. I've had to deal with an abscessed tooth right up front at the top, and that pain was the worst thing ever. The nurse in the emergency room at the hospital helping me said the abscessed tooth is more painful than childbirth. So women, don't go around acting all tough. Men have worse pain from the mouth hole than you do from the hoo-ha hole. But some people have mouth holes and hoo-ha holes. So what now? Are they just in double pain? Listen, I don't doubt that your abscessed tooth was painful. I'm sorry you had to go through that. But why did you make this an opportunity to be extremely misogynistic and to invalidate the pain that women go through? Because I feel like most people would agree childbirth is a painful experience. But the pain of childbirth doesn't invalidate your pain of an abscessed tooth. So let's just not invalidate each other's pain. How about that? Also, I can't believe this dude said hoo-ha hole. Like, what a term. What an awful day it is to know how to read. All right, so this next one is a meme. I think we could all use a meme break right now. I don't know who reposted this, but it's someone with a red pill profile picture. That's good. The caption reads, hashtag 10-year challenge for these hoes be like. And then it's a picture of two donuts, and the donut up top has a closed donut hole and it says 2010. The donut at the bottom has a bigger hole and it's labeled as 2020, as in presumably these holes have gotten bigger in the past 10 years because they are a hoe. Again, these men need to realize that if the hole is tight, you're doing a bad job. This would be like if we said that a man's gets thinner after every sexual encounter. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I know there's like dozens of variations of these memes, but they're all equally stupid. Anyway, enough of that rant. Let's continue. Women want their friends to be nice, not their men. Act nice around her and you will end up in a friend zone. Okay, no, that's not how that works. First of all, the friend zone is a myth. And if you claim that you are in the friend zone with someone, you are saying that you view that person as a sexual object for your own desires. This is literally just another way of wording that nice guy / incel mentality where women aren't turned on by supposed nice guys, which couldn't be further from the truth, because I think not just women, but anyone looking for a relationship, one of the basic qualities that a potential partner should have is being nice, being kind, being respectful. And if you're claiming that your niceness is the reason why you can't get a date, you're probably not that nice. Probably something going on with you that's not great. Like, I think if you asked anyone of any gender, they would say that they would want a partner who treats them well, who is nice to them. Even if you are the nicest person in the world, not everyone in life is going to like you, and that's okay. You're not going to like everyone you come across. It's not the end of the world to just wind up in a friendship with someone you're interested, because presumably you like them as a person, so wouldn't you want them to be in your life one way or another if you enjoy being around them? Ladies, ... I see no reasoning in putting if you're looking for a hookup, that's not me, or I'm not looking for sex in your bios, because it comes off as I hate sex, and that's not the best way to attract a man. The only thing that attracts are cats you don't have, to mention sex at all, honestly. That's a lot of words to describe being a virgin. Damn. So I haven't been on a dating app in over a year, but from my time of being on dating apps on and off for years, isn't it a good thing to put what you're looking for up front so you don't waste anyone's time? Isn't it a good thing to state what you want and don't want? The main goal for most people on a dating app is to find a potential partner. And in order to be in a successful partnership, you need to be able to communicate your needs. And if you're discouraging a potential partner from communicating those needs very early on, how's the rest of the relationship looking like? like. And to say that a woman hates sex because she puts on her dating profile that she's not looking for sex is such a simplistic way of looking at things. Just because a woman says she's not looking for casual sex, that doesn't mean she hates all sex. That means she's looking to possibly have sex with someone she's in a serious partnership with. Just a heads up, if you are on a dating app or you're planning to go on a dating app, you are going to see people with a bunch of different preferences. Some preferences that you may not necessarily have, and if you can't handle that, don't go on a dating app. It's that easy. People are allowed to like and not like things, and they don't have to justify it. I guess I'm going to be sticking with the dating apps for the rest of this video because this last post we'll be looking at is a screenshot, or I guess 2 screenshots of a Tinder profile. Side note, I've always wanted to do a series on my channel where I review my subscribers' dating profiles. So if that is a video you would like to see from me, let me know down below. Before you get married, discuss bills, parenting styles, credit, debit, religion, how to deal with family, what beliefs will be instilled in your children, childhood traumas, sexual expectations, partner expectations, financial expectations, family health history, mental health history, bucket list, dream home, careers and education, political views, and whatever else comes to mind. Love alone is not enough. That's great and all, but what does Anne Hathaway have to do with this? I mean, we're off to a pretty strong start because I agree with the sentiment. I think these are very important conversations to have with a partner to make sure your values and your morals and your life plans align if you plan on staying together for a while. Maybe don't have all these conversations like on the first date or two, but I think these are important things to talk about with a partner, especially if you plan on getting married. Who is this gentleman caller we have here? He is a welder at Welder. Awesome. He's graduated. He's a straight man and he's looking for long-term, but he's open to short-term stuff. We love a man with an open mind. 5'10", wanting to go on dates and get to know you. Must be able to hold a conversation. No traditional women left. No one wants to date a let alone marry one. Now put the ass away and stop acting a fool. It's embarrassing. Maybe take your own advice, dude, because this, especially that last part, that was cringe. How are you going to say that no one wants to date a and also put that you're looking for short-term relationships in your dating profile? That just seems a little bit hypocritical to me. Like, wouldn't that also make you a by your standards? Or is it because you're a guy and guys can't be only women can be Some nerve coming from a Libra man. You are a walking red flag, sir. But yeah, that is r/not how girls work for ya. If you would like to see me look at r/not how girls work again in the future, let me know down below. If you want me to look at any particular subreddit in the future, please let me know in the comments as well. And in general, if you would like to see me talk about anything in particular going forward, I have a Google form linked in the description where you could submit those video ideas. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a tiny thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you so much to Intimina for sponsoring today's video. I love you guys and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye!